In the heart of the desolate town of Ravenswood stood an abandoned hospital, a place where life had once flourished but now lay shrouded in darkness and mystery. The air around it was heavy with a sense of foreboding, as if the very walls held the memories of the pain and suffering that had occurred within. The hospital's windows were shattered, its once pristine white walls now mottled with decay and graffiti. Overgrown vines and weeds clawed their way up the sides of the building, as if nature itself was attempting to reclaim what had been left behind. The moon cast an eerie glow over the scene, casting long shadows that danced like restless spirits. The rumors that circulated about the hospital were chilling. Whispers of experiments gone awry, of patients who had vanished without a trace, and of a doctor who had succumbed to madness filled the air. It was said that the hospital was cursed, that the souls of those who had suffered within its walls still lingered, trapped between this world and the next. One night, a group of curious teenagers decided to venture into the abandoned hospital. Armed with flashlights and an audacious sense of adventure, they crossed the threshold into the darkness. As they moved through the corridors, the floorboards creaked beneath their feet, as if the building itself was warning them to turn back. Strange noises echoed through the halls, whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, distant footsteps that echoed like a haunting refrain. Their flashlights flickered and dimmed, casting eerie shadows that danced along the walls. The air grew colder, and a sense of unease settled over the group. As they explored deeper into the hospital, they came upon a room with a rusted sign that read, "Experimental Ward." The door was slightly ajar, and a dim light flickered from within. Curiosity overcame their fear, and they cautiously entered. Inside they found rows of rusted medical equipment, long abandoned. The air was thick with an acrid smell, and the walls were stained with what appeared to be dried blood. In the center of the room, a metal table stood, its surface stained and worn. A feeling of dread washed over them, and they could almost hear the echoing cries of pain that had once filled the room. Just as they were about to leave, a chilling wind swept through the room, extinguishing their flashlights. Panic set in as they fumbled to relight them, but then they heard it, a faint, anguished moan that seemed to come from all directions. Their heartbeats quickened as they realized they were not alone. A faint light began to glow at the far end of the room, revealing the silhouette of a figure. It was a spectral form, translucent and shrouded in a tattered hospital gown. The figure's eyes glowed with a haunting light, fixing on the intruders with a mixture of sorrow and anger. Frozen with fear, the teenagers watched as the figure raised a ghostly hand, beckoning them to come closer. But before they could react, the room seemed to shake, and a chorus of anguished cries echoed through the air. The walls seemed to close in around them, and the very air grew heavy with a sense of suffocating despair. In a desperate bid to escape, the teenagers fled the room, stumbling and gasping for breath. They burst out into the moonlit night, their faces pale and their hearts pounding. As they looked back at the abandoned hospital, they saw the figure at the window, its mournful gaze following them. From that night on, the teenagers were haunted by nightmares of the hospital, of endless corridors, echoing screams, and the anguished figure that seemed to beckon them back. The memory of their ill-fated exploration would forever be etched into their minds, a reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, for the past can have a chilling way of coming back to haunt the living.